Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Astara and I'm an angelic clairvoyant and communicator. And I work a lot with twin flames because we're on this amazing journey, which is sometimes incredibly challenging, but also taking us to a place where we're going to learn about what it really is to be in partnership with someone, what it really is to have divine feminine energy and sacred masculine energy, and what it really is for those two to come together. So, I'm going to speak to you today about something that the divine feminines might really relate to, which is when you're feeling into your twin flame journey. Often, maybe when you've been through all the mental looping and it's died down a bit, and you're kind of getting a bit more a hold on your senses because it's such an intense journey. It's when you begin to feel the rhythm of the twin flame journey within you. And if you're into that rhythm, you'll notice that you kind of go apart and then you come back together and then you go apart and then you come back together. And they're like what I would call like touch points. Because what we're really learning about is divine timing. We're learning about a slow process of merging energy. And it can feel really stressful on the mind because we're used to everything being fast. And there's a reason we're used to everything being fast, and that's because in this kind of distorted world we're living in, it doesn't give a lot of time for anything. And if you look at nature, there is a time process. And I will do another video to talk about that because how the distortions are coming about is by people and entities playing with time, which is affecting us. So when we come into the twin flame dynamic, we're trying to come back into a process of divine timing. Now, if you'd asked me a year ago how I felt about divine timing, I think I would have sworn at you because I kept hearing this word divine timing from everywhere. And it was driving me mad because all I wanted was to know what was going to happen immediately right now. It was really bringing out a very impatient part of myself. But I noticed that's what we're used to. And I also knew because I've done a huge amount of work with getting women pregnant through working with them with acupuncture and natural conception, conscious conception. I also knew that there is a time to things. There is a process that we go through. There is a ripening process. There is a growing, expanding, a journeying process to everything. And we can't always want things right now because that then brings us out of this beautiful flow, this divine flow. What I'm going to talk to you about right now is when you feel that the divine masculine, the sacred masculine, is going to contact you. Maybe there's been separation for a while. You're feeling the intention, the intense connection very intensely in your being. The energy is building up. The signs are really loud and the synchronicities are undeniable. And I mean like signs and synchronicities, like you hear their name, you hear twin, you see the numbers, you see like there are so many synchronicities. You kind of feel like you're being bombarded and told that something is about to happen by everything around you. And so your intuition is fully alert, like you really know. And also I notice I begin to get anxious when that's about to happen as well. I begin to get like quite scared because I can feel the tension in my body and I don't quite know what's going to happen. So there is this undeniable building up of energy, and sometimes it gets so much you feel like you might explode and you think it's got to break soon, like something's got to happen soon, like I'm going to hear from them soon, especially if you're in separation. I'm going to hear from them, there's going to be a truth bomb, like something's going to come out. And then I go into fear patterns. Well, will I like what comes out? Will I not like what comes out? And I get really anxious. But then nothing happens. Oh my goodness. And this can be part of the rhythm of the twin flame journey where you build up, where you build up, where you build up, and you just know it's going to happen. Your intuition is like hot and you know it's going to happen. And then nothing happens. And then you feel like that kind of dwindling of energy, like, oh, where did it all go? Like someone came along and just took it. And then you just feel like the opposite, like, what's going on here? I want to talk about this when your energy is swelling and when you're expanding and your heart is full of anticipation And when every fiber and the fire in your being is also telling you, is whispering, they're coming, it's time, divine timing, it's coming, it's coming. And then there's just silence. There's no call, there's no message, there's no contact. And that can feel like a really strange, pivotal moment. Because what can follow from that, as you feel the energy diminishing, you feel the energy dwindling, is a lot of confusion, a lot of disappointment, a lot of doubt, and you start questioning your intuition. You start questioning yourself, like, did I just make that all up? Did I imagine all of that? Is this connection real? Am I just fooling myself? Am I deluding myself? And so, in a way, you begin to gaslight yourself because it didn't happen. And it doesn't have to be on twin flames. Sometimes that happens with money or businesses, or you just notice that the energy is just like gone and you just don't know what happened. So let me offer you a deeper truth that lives beneath the surface of what you can see, which is you did feel the energy. You were right. You were sensing something that was real. The energetic build-up wasn't just your imagination, it was the movement in the field between you of something aligning. But sometimes that energy might begin to align, but then there's a huge pushing out of distortion. And the reason I can say this is because I've been through this so many times now. And also, I notice that my anxiety gets really heightened, and I can feel my twin, like their anxiety getting really heightened as well. And so it's almost like the pressure begins to build up for reasons I'm not sure of, but we're like, then you're coming together and it's too much. It's like one of you or the other one will begin to spin out. And it's usually the divine masculine because he has to work through, probably he's working through huge mind matrix distortions, beliefs about himself, beliefs about coming towards you, his own fears. A karmic may step in, all the things he has to deal with. He's got to kind of move through a lot of distortion and limiting beliefs. He's got to also move through fear and guilt and unhealed wounds from his inner child. And so they might have wanted to reach out, and I'm in no way excusing their slow behavior here, but they may have wanted to reach out, and the soul might have been pushing for them to reach out, but the mind is still clouded by illusion and shut it down. Now, this I notice that this is a truth because I can do it myself in myself. I can know that, oh, I really want something, but then it feels too much and I can't handle it, so my mind will shut it down. And so it's easy for the feminine to begin to believe that there's something wrong with her. Like, oh, he didn't come and meet it. He didn't contact me. He doesn't care about me. Like, I'm not important to him. Maybe I'm unattractive. Maybe he finds someone else more interesting or something else more interesting. Blah, 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 blah. This is when the distortions in the mind begin to loop. And it's a way of clearing that distortion, that negativity from your system. So, Divine Feminines, I really want you to know that when this happens, you're not wrong. This is also not a rejection and it's not an abandonment. And it could trigger your abandonment wound. It's probably your abandonment wound's being triggered over and over and over again in this relationship, in this dynamic. But this is all about getting used to what that really is and seeing the truth. So, this is like a way of processing a huge amount of energy that is going on between you and between them. What also can happen is if you're feeling overwhelmed, your energy kind of begins to reject things and helps you to withdraw so you feel safe. And in the same way, your twin is doing the same. They may have felt overwhelmed, unworthy, terrified at the very thing their soul is actually yearning for. And because they're in the matrix, because they're stuck in their head, because they're in the male ego, they don't know what's going on. And the difficulty with this dynamic is the divine feminine can see it more clearly. They're often more spiritually aware, emotionally mature, and obviously it depends what kind of body you're in, because I know there are men going first and women coming following second. I've done readings for these kind of people, so I do know they exist. I just want you to know here that, look, you're on a twin flame journey. And so nothing is wasted. There is no wave of energy or emotional crescendo or no intuitive hit. It also serves a purpose. Nothing is wasted here. And if you felt they were coming, they were, okay? But the timelines are fluid, free will plays a part, and distortion just create a delay in the expression of truth. We know here that the divine feminine often works through things more quickly, and the divine masculine must walk through the fire of their own fear. And they must come into alignment with their soul's truth. And often they've spent a lifetime ignoring the soul's truth. Yeah, they've been told or believed that that is not real. And so they stay in this mindset that keeps them in fear, keeps them in ego, and just keeps making the same mistake over and over again until they come into alignment with themselves. So when they're doing that, it can look like avoidance, it can look like silence, it can look like absence. But beneath all of that, something is unfolding. And this is where the divine feminine really comes into her power, because you really need to know that what you're knowing is about transformative energy. You are deeply attuned, you are not delusional, and that sensitivity into this requires trust, it requires patience, it's a surrender to that divine timing and not allowing your ego to take over or their ego, and to keep your heart in a way that's protected and not obsessional, but just finding your own peace. And this is why in this journey that the divine feminine is like needing to focus on herself, to allow the masculine to do what he needs to do in his silence, in his own way, and do the processing for himself so that he can come into contact with his own power. And on this kind of process, I just want to say here that as the feminine, you can stay rooted in your truth, you can become a lighthouse, and you can also help your masculine by staying rooted and grounded to come into his own alignment. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this sacred work, because we all need to do it to birth a new earth and a new paradigm of love. But my heart goes out to you if you're going through these looping patterns, but they will resolve and you will move on to the next level. So if this message resonated with you, remember to join my channel, but also I do workshops on the divine feminine and the sacred masculine and the twin flame journey. So if you want to come and connect with me, I would love to hear from you. Lots of love.